Good morning, everyone. Good morning, ma'am. It's always a pleasure to come here to an institute where there's so much discipline and everybody looks very smart, well dressed, well groomed. And I think that is half the battle won for all of you when you go out in the industry. And you will realize many, many years later that this kind of discipline and grooming that you've had has really helped you in your career ahead. You'll look back and you will say that, I'm very sure. So always a pleasure here, and I hope that you enjoy my session. We will take a quick feedback later after I finish, and I would like some genuine feedback on what I'm talking about. Okay, so today we are going to talk about 7 hats for success in management. These are the various hats that we have to use and we have to put on our heads and look at the world in that with those glasses or with that hat to find out the different aspects of anything that we do in life. You cannot have a single one-minded approach to anything. Is that true or not? Yeah, so let us look at what are the things that we need to look at. This is a formula for you to use in everything in your life. Whether it is your personal relationships, whether it is your work, whether it is your presentation that you have to do, everywhere this is going to be of importance to you. So could we start? Oh, you've already started? Okay. Yeah. So the first question I want to ask all of you, and I want a few answers here, is what kind of a thinker are you? When you are given a problem, how is your thinking process? Is it emotional? How many of you say they're emotional in their thought process? They're emotional, okay? So that influences how you react to situations, isn't it? Or you could be data driven. When somebody says that this is a problem, then there are some of you who say, no, I have read in the paper, this is the data. You know, suppose somebody says this movie, Dhurandhar, is a movie that is a great success or something like that, and then you say it's a success, but it's a success in India and in maybe Pakistan, but it's not a success in America. I have all the data with me. Okay, so some of you will use data to make your decisions. Some of you will use creativity in making decisions. There is a different aspect that comes to you. Suppose you see something, there is a cobweb. There's a cobweb, okay, in the corner of the ceiling, and you're looking at it. Okay, there are some of you who will say, okay, we have 10 cobwebs in a house we need to remove. Some of you will say, there's a spider which is there on the cobweb. Can I remove him a little more carefully with a small little stick so that I don't hurt him? Okay, so you are trying to find out ways of creatively removing the spider, not letting it get hurt. Okay, so it's a different thought process of doing things. Some of you become natural leaders in the group. I'm sure you've been here 20-25 days now. Yes, so some of you are natural leaders. You will have groups of your own. There will be people who gather around you and you take a decision कि हम लोग आज ये movie देखने जाएंगे. We are going to behave like this in the class today. Okay, so it comes very naturally for some people who are a little more assertive in nature, and they tend to take the decisions based on their leadership qualities. So there are some who overthink the risks. Okay, now suppose you are climbing a hill and there is a small little it's a very narrow road which is going up. So some of you don't want to take risks. You say, no, I'll climb only till here. I don't want to go to the top of the hill. But some of you say, okay, the path is about maybe half a foot, and I will be able to manage going up very comfortably if I climb slowly and I hold on to the rocks around me. So when you're thinking like that, you're calculating the risk of whether you will fall down or whether you will be able to make up to the top. Okay, so if you are a person who says, if I cautiously climb the hill, I will be able to make it to the top. So that's another thinker. Okay, so but when you look at all these various ways in which you are going to think about your problems, okay, or your issues, or if there is any activity in front of you and you want to do it in a certain way and you are looking at that, then what is the dominant character in your personality will come out. If you are emotional, you will make your decisions emotionally. If you are intelligent, then you will make your decisions with a lot of intelligence. Sometimes problems get resolved only through communication. If you are good at communication, you will do extremely well. But as a management person, as a leader, you should be able to do all your activities keeping all these aspects in mind: intelligence, communication, creativity, discipline. Emotional intelligence is of utmost importance. Okay, these days they say that leaders who succeed have good emotional intelligence. What does that mean? I am not going to take up for my juniors just because they are crying and they come to my office, but I will just show empathy to them. I will say, I understand you have a small child in your house and that's why you are coming late to work every day, but this is the policy of the college and so you need to come at 8:30. Can you look for somebody who will take care of your child before? So this is an empathetic intelligence quotient that comes, not intelligence, emotional quotient that comes into being. Without disturbing the rules of the college, you are finding a solution for that other person. Okay, and networking is very, very important in these days. Unless you network, you will not, there will be a lot of obstacles in the way. Currently, in the last 8-10 days, there have been a lot of interviews by Lalit Modi. Do you follow? Okay, have you seen what he is talking about? Have you seen his rise in the cricket world when he had nothing? What was that rise about? That rise was about all the networking that he did with all the right people and placed himself in the right place at the right time through his network. So that's another important aspect you need to keep in mind. And the last is adaptability. You need to adapt to situations. Okay, just because you're used to a certain thing, if you don't have it and the situation changes, you have to adapt to the new rules and regulations and go along the way. Okay, you're used to getting up late in the morning, but now you are here at IIEBM, where you need to start your class at 10, and before that I'm sure there is some run or exercise and breakfast, then you have to dress up well, freshen up and then come to college on time. Maybe you're not used to it, but you have to adapt to it now, and if you want to be happy, you will do it with a smile so that it becomes easier day by day. Okay, so in order to have to solve all issues, problems, or even any activity that you want to do, keeping all these aspects that I have spoken about, let us look at the 7 hats which are going to help you. It is a very easy way of having a formula that will help you to decide whether you have looked at the problem 360 degrees. The first hat is a white hat which talks about facts and data. What really happened? How did it happen? When did it happen? How many people were involved? Okay, and suppose it's a car accident. What speed was the car going at? Was the driver driving in the right lane? So these are all the facts and figures that you will first find out. The second hat is a red hat which is about emotions and intuitions. So while we say that emotions should not govern you completely in your workspace, it is also important to hone that intuition quality in you, and it comes with practice. Okay, Sometimes you get that intuition. For example, you feel that I'm not studied for this subject, but I have a feeling I'm going to get good marks or I'm going to pass. It's an intuition that you have, okay? It's not positive thinking. There's a difference between positive thinking and intuition. Intuition is about the feeling that comes from within. Sometimes you go somewhere and you don't feel safe. When you look around you, everything seems normal, but you have that feeling something is wrong. That is intuition, okay? So the red hat will tell you, okay, let's look at the problem through the eyes of emotional and intuitional abilities that we have. The black hat is about caution and risk, okay? What is caution and risk? It is, okay, we have this accident has happened, suppose this is the data, there is one person in the car who got hurt, but I think my intuition tells me he is going to survive. He looks like he is going to die, but he will survive. Let me take him to the hospital. Okay, but what are the risks while taking him to the hospital? Can we ask the ambulance to get all the equipment, medical equipment that is going to be required, so that you can, you know, have a ventilator there or things like that? So these are the risk factors that you have to take. Can we take him to the hospital close by, or can we take him a little further to a specialty hospital where the treatment is much better? Okay. Then is the yellow hat. Yellow hat is about positivity and opportunity. Okay. So, okay, this is a problem, I am facing this problem, but out of this problem, can I come up with something that will help us? In India, when the pandemic hit, the children had to stay at home. You guys had to stay at home, isn't it? You must have been in your, what, 9th and 10th standard? Yeah. And for the very first time, Indian teachers in India started teaching online. Okay. And then this created an opportunity. And now India has a lot of universities where they give online courses completely. It came from a fact that there was a problem, no solution, find a solution, and now that solution has become an opportunity. Yeah. Green hat is about creativity and innovation. So how can you do this better? If I am going to teach my class online and I can see that the class is sleeping, they put off the camera and they go to sleep. What can I do to keep them there? Okay, is there any software? There's that Proctor system. Have you seen those reels where they are doing employment interviews and they ask the employees, raise your hands, so that you are not looking at answers elsewhere? So there are ways and means where you can be use your creativity to make the problem easier and also solve it in such a way that it encompasses many other things than what it is supposed to be. Okay. The blue hat is leadership and process control. So it's not just about okay, you know, this is a problem, we'll solve it. Okay, we solved it. Yeah, the pandemic hit, we are teaching online, the problem is solved. But what is the leadership quality or procedures that are processes that need to be controlled? Then as a principal, will I be able to take all the PPTs, submit all the PPTs from various teachers to me? Can I have those PPTs audited to see that the lesson plans are very good and the PowerPoint presentations are very good and up to the mark? So I am putting a system in place. I am putting an audit team which is going to check every PPT. I am going to randomly check what the teachers are teaching, isn't it? So I am putting processes in place to make sure that the system runs without a glitch. And the last is purple hat, which is values, ethics and purpose. This is one of the most important hats, because I always believe that when you take a shortcut and when you try and do something that is unethical, it will come and bite you at some point. There's always that fear that I did some gadbad here, but I might get caught, and that will stay with you. As against that, if you behave ethically, you may get one shouting today, but after that everybody knows nobody is going to shout back at you. So it's always better to be very straightforward and ethical than to cover one lie you're telling another lie, then another lie, then another lie. I'll give you a story. There was this boy in my first year. That time I used to teach food production in the kitchen, and after the practicals are over, you had to clean up everything, adjust the tables and keep it in place. So he said, "Ma'am, I cannot do all this because there's a hole in my heart." And I said, maybe there's a hole in his heart, who knows, why to take chance and get him to do work. After 3 years, his father came and he said, I said to the father, "How's your son's heart? He had a hole there." The father said, "This is the first time I'm hearing about it." So then I called the boy, I said, "Your father says it's the first time." He said, "No, I thought my father has so much stress, why to tell him?" So see, one lie over another. It's always better, whatever it is, to say the way things are and get on with your life. Okay? So the best managers don't wear just one hat. You have to keep changing your hat as per the situation or any problem you want to tackle, wear every hat to see what are the possibilities, write it down, and then you will come with a solution which is absolutely foolproof. Okay? Should I change? Okay, let's look at the white hat. Who is the man on your right? Elon. What's he known for? SpaceX, but basically he is an engineer who deals with a lot of data. Why do you think he has succeeded? Because he has been very good at logic, data analysis and collecting facts and figures. Okay, technical way of doing things. Of course, there are many minuses to him. His management skills are suspect, but for his success, the main reason is maximum times he is wearing the white hat. Okay? Dealing with facts and figures, no assumptions, logically going about doing things. You know, he wants to send people on the moon as a travel experience. Yeah. Mars also. Yeah. Okay. So this is what he is, and this kind of outlook is very important when you are either in finance or analytics or operations. Okay, if you are working in any of these areas, then your white hat must be the biggest hat that you will be wearing. Yeah. Okay, I am going to ask you questions and you have to tell me whether you think it's a fact, assumption or it needs more data. Okay? Marks matter more than skills. How many say fact? It's an assumption? It's an assumption. Okay. Work from home reduces productivity. How many assumption? How many fact? How many need more data? Okay, all right. Social media creates better marketing than traditional advertising. It's a fact. Okay, it's a fact. People judge restaurants by Instagram photos. Now you fact? Yeah, okay. People buy brands to impress others. Fact? Fact again. Assumption? Okay. Okay. Data never lies. Fact. Okay. Happy employees give better customer service. It's a fact, right? Okay. All right. Gen Z wants work-life balance more than money. Fact? All of you? Okay. Huh? Who wants money? Need more data. Okay. Networking is more important than talent. Need more data? How many think it's a fact? Okay. I think it really works. Networking really works. Okay. So you need to check out the data, but I think it is a very important thing. Okay. So the smartest managers are not the ones who know everything. They are the ones who question assumption before making decisions. Okay. The second hat is a red hat. Who do we have here? Ratan Tata. Okay. Now, Mr. Ratan Tata is known for his ethical ways. Once when he was asked, why are the Ambanis more successful than the Tatas? He said, because the Ambanis are businessmen and we are industrialists. Okay, that's a basic difference. So what does that really mean? It means that we are growing for the country. It's not just about business, okay? And a lot of his decisions are taken. He was known to be an empathetic leader who thought of all the decisions with his head and also with his heart. Okay, there was a story that when the Taj Mahal was hit, and I'm going to show you that clip here. You know about that? By the terrorists. Okay, he took the first press conference within like 48 hours and he said that I am going to pay for the education of all the children who lost their parents in this attack, whether it is in our hotel or it is at the railway station or it is at the Kama hospital or if it is at the Leopold Cafe. And then his finance department said, can we really afford to do this? It's a lot of money because across the city, whoever suffered, he said, we will give them financial help. And he said, I don't care. This is what I want to do and this has happened to my city and I want to give back to my city. Okay. So every year when I come, I do play this clip which is very moving and very touching about the Taj Mahal being hit by the terrorists and the management lessons that you can learn from it. Okay. There's Professor Rohit Deshpande who has taken this up as a case study in Oxford and this is his clip. It is 18 minutes. I will try and stop it at the earliest where I feel that's enough for you to see. But it's a very moving clip and I enjoy showing it to all my students everywhere. So, okay, let's have a look at it. Can you click on that?
On the 26th of November 2008, as you just heard, a group of 10 terrorists attacked the city of Mumbai, what used to be called Bombay, in India. They broke up into teams to attack about a dozen different locations. One of those locations was the iconic, beautiful, 103-year-old Taj Mahal Palace Hotel in South Bombay. For 3 nights, 2 days, there was absolute havoc in that hotel. Guests were terrorized, people wounded, shot, killed. Group of terrorists with automatic weapons, plastic explosives and grenades in backpacks roamed freely through this old hotel. Many of us, many of you, witnessed or saw some of that coverage on television at home. Let's take a closer look.
The evening of November 26, 2008 was a typical busy Wednesday for the Taj. More than 500 guests were registered at the hotel. Another 500 to 600 were attending functions in banquet halls or sitting down to dinner in the hotel's 10 restaurants. Shortly after 9 p.m., An explosion rocked the Leopold Cafe just around the corner, less than 200 meters from the Taj. Two young men pulled out automatic weapons and began firing. Crowds at the Gateway of India and along the street in front of the Taj panicked, many rushing the doors of the hotel. In the ensuing chaos, two heavily armed terrorists circumvented the metal detectors and entered the lobby. They were soon joined by the two attackers from the Leopold, who broke through a back door.
9:35 or 9:40 was the first call I got from one of my chefs. And he said some shooting is taking place. The person has been shot dead outside my restaurant. Then we heard another gunshot, and I told him on the phone, I said, just close all the kitchens, all the restaurant doors.
They were banging the door, they were alerting everyone, come out, otherwise we'll shoot you. There were few guests who they were scared and they came out by putting their arms out, and they started hitting and they started harassing us. It was horrible.
The situation, the entire scenario was very scary. We couldn't judge at that time what is exactly happening in the hotel.
It was a literally war situation. You can hear grenade lobby ground, you can hear the gunshot also.
We did not know the scale of the attack. We did not know what exactly was going on, where they were at that moment. And there was total chaos. My colleagues were trapped with guests in various places, asking me what should we do next.
So picture what's happening inside that hotel. There are 500 guests who are registered at that hotel this night of 26th November. There are an additional 600 or so guests who are in various restaurants, attending various banquets and functions. There are about 600 or so staff members on duty that night. Young people, many of them very young, 20, 30-year-old. Some of them, these staff members had only been working for a few years at this hotel. Many of them fathers and mothers, the sole breadwinners in their families with children at home waiting for them. One of the things, we don't know a lot about the detail about what happened there, but one of the things we do know is that all 600 of these employees knew all the back routes. They knew the exits, they knew the entrances, they knew the hallways, the kitchen galleys. In other words, they knew how to get out and how to get out fast. All the research we have in psychology would tell us that the natural human instinct at a time of terror like this is to flee. So think about it, what you would do. So when I teach this case study at Harvard, I ask my students, I say, how many of these employees do you think fled, and how many of them do you think stayed? And they'll hazard guesses, and the maximum, they say that would stay would be maybe a quarter, 150 or so. But that's the maximum. Everybody who can run away will run away. Well, the truth of the matter is that nobody ran away. They all stayed. In fact, some of them not only stayed, they helped guests out and came back in to help more guests. It's an amazing story. These are some of their stories.
The staff of the Taj stayed on duty throughout the siege, calming frightened guests and assisting in their rescue. Many even came back inside after leading guests out of the building. Members of the hotel's team of telephone operators, originally evacuated, voluntarily returned to their stations and stayed on all night.
They became the hub of communication at that point. They were the ones calling every single guest room, talking to the guests and telling them to stay in, don't step out, lock your door.
As the terrorists roamed the halls, telephone operators instructed trapped guests to pull their key cards to turn off the illuminated Occupy button in the hallway outside their doors.
the attack started at 9:30 in the evening. Till 4 o'clock they were answering guest calls. I think that speaks a lot for a hotel under attack.
Among the guests at the Taj that night were members of the Global Board of Directors and senior management team of Unilever, who had gathered along with their spouses to honor incoming and outgoing CEOs.
So we had this really elaborate 7-course meal, and that was sort of the setting, the mood. There was warmth, there was laughter, there was a perfect setting for a nostalgic farewell and a perfect setting for a nice welcome. And I heard what seemed to me, which is an untrained ear, like firecrackers in the hotel.
We started getting these text messages and phone calls. There were some gunmen on the loose. The only logical thing to do was to close the doors and just stay put.
Malika came to us and said, "We think there's a problem. We're not sure what exactly it is, but I request all of you to be on the ground right now." The level of calm and composure that the staff displayed was amazing. It was absolutely amazing, because they had the presence of mind to even advise us, saying, "Couples, please separate, don't stay at the same place, just be in different corners of the room."
65 lives at stake, so can't take a chance. So obviously we were in touch with security all the time and had a lot of alcohol in the room. So that helped a little.
This went on the whole night. We were on the floor with our hearts in our mouth, with debris falling all around us, the noises of firecrackers all around, and all through the staff kept their composure, kept coming to us, "Do you want some water? Do you want something?"
Well, I was scared, but there was something more important to be done.
This went on till 4 or 5 in the morning, when the room filled with smoke. So we had no choice but to find a way to escape.
The entire corridor outside the hall was on fire. So there was no way we could get out. The fire guys were outside and they were dousing the fire on the 6th floor. And we happened to see Mr. Khan downstairs as well. So he sort of ushered the fire guys to us.
We sort of climbed onto the ledge and did some stuff which in today's normal day I wouldn't be able to do, but we sort of came onto the ledge, climbed down to the ladders which by then the fire brigade people had come. The staff insisted that we would go first, guests would go first. And they kept like that till all of us had come down, and then they all came down.
Well, in a way, because I was there, I was looking after the function, I was responsible. I could have been the youngest in the room, and I know at one point in time I was the youngest in the room, but I was still doing my job.
The easiest thing for our staff to do at that point in time was to drop whatever they were doing and run out of the hotel. Not one did that. Not one.
I come from an army background, not myself but my father, he retired as a general in the army. And he often used to say, when I was even appointed here as a general manager, he used to often tell me that you are now like the captain of the ship. And I think that's the way you think, that you are the captain of the ship, and you have to be the last one to leave, and if it sinks, you sink with it.
At some point, our kitchen brigade decided that it looked like a lull in the thing and they could be taken out from the back of the kitchen through the fire exit to the back road, and our chefs had formed a human chain to escort people in the darkness down those stairs, and as hundreds of them were being evacuated, somehow 2 of those terrorists got to know that this was happening, and the terrorists arrived there and saw these chefs lined up herding people away, and there was mayhem. They cut loose, and that's where we lost our biggest numbers there. We had 5 or 6 of our chefs gunned down, but they took the bullets.
So that they risked their lives in just making sure the guests were safe.
I don't think we would have made it out of the hotel without the support, the assurance, the constant service orientation that the staff provided, without doubt, which is why we will continue to be so grateful to them.
I can't explain it. There were no manuals, there were no instructions for what should be done under the circumstances. And so what seems to have happened is individuals, from the waiters to the managers of the restaurants, all had this goal of let's get the guests to safety.
To reiterate,
you can put it
500 registered.
Yeah. So, did you know so many details before? Fairly new. So, this is the kind of, this is not something that is taught, okay? It comes naturally, and I always believe that we as Indians, when it matters the most, we have that do or die attitude in us, the nationalist attitude, which is very typical of Indians, and that is the reason that it happened. Had somebody told these employees 4 दिन के बाद ये होने वाला है, probably nobody would have gone to work. But now that they were at work and they had a job to do, they did not care about their safety. They put the safety of the guests before them. And that is what this red hat is all about, okay? You have to boost the morale of the team that is working with you before you do anything else. Okay. I had thought I would get you to do it on the phone, but I realize now your phones are not allowed here. So I want you to say one word which describes your current feeling since you joined this world of management. When you came here, what are the thoughts that went into your mind? Can some of you say? Scared. You were scared. What else? Confused. Sorry? Anxious, yes. Excited. Curious. Hopeful. Hopeful, were you hopeful? Yes. Did you have dreams in your heart? Yes. Yeah. So we have a lot of feelings when we are doing certain things, okay? As far as the others are concerned, it's just an admission, but for you it is a lot more than just admission, isn't it? So the red hat talks about various emotions that one has to go through, and we must be aware of it. Just because we are scared, we are not going to say I'm not going to take admission, okay? You want to explore. Okay, so the same situation, people have different reactions. Have you come across this? One particular situation happens and there are 4 reactions to it. Why? Because people think differently. Some people wear a white hat, so they think differently. Some people wear a red hat, so they think differently. And can emotions affect performance? Of course it can. Of course it can. Have you seen the latest movie, Michael? How many of you have seen it? Okay, I think others should go and see it, because Michael was one of the geniuses of our times, okay? A musician who was loved across the world and who had everybody dancing to his beats. He was such a genius, there will never be another musician like him. But at the same time, have you heard stories about him playing with toys, always having toys around? He had a zoo in the house. So he was also driven by the fact that when he was a kid, he never enjoyed his childhood because he was singing all the time. And that is why he continued to be a child till the day he died. So these are some of the reactions that we have to situations in our life. And as we grow into leadership positions, we need to keep that baggage away and move on. Sometimes fear does improve performance, as we saw in the case of this Taj attack. Okay, all the employees got together. There must have been times when they must be fighting, must be times when they may have been competitive, but all the chefs came together and they had one single goal of pushing the guests out of the hotel, and that overtook everything. Even when they were afraid for themselves, they overcame that fear and they performed much beyond their duty. Okay, and so as a manager, as you get into leadership positions, you must always listen to what your juniors have to say, what their emotions are. Many a times you don't have to act on it. Just listening to them will make the employees feel better. They might think you are a good boss because you are listening to their problems. Okay, amongst you also, you may be having a teacher who you feel you can easily go and talk to that teacher about your problems, because the comfort level that is given to you, as against another teacher who might not. Okay, so these are the different approaches that people have which affects the rest of the team that is working with them. So a manager's job is not only to manage work but get things done through emotions, motivation, stress, building team morale, confidence and conflict. Do you remember this pandemic when you had to hit a thali, Corona go away or COVID go away or something like that? Everybody was made to say by none other than the Prime Minister of India. Okay, do you think he doesn't understand science? Do you think he thinks that if we hit the thali, the COVID will go away? No, what was he doing? There's a management lesson there. He was boosting the morale of the people and telling them that let us fight this together. This is an emergency in our country and we need to fight it together. Okay, so keeping that in mind, sometimes you have to boost the morale by doing different things. And one of the things that he said was thali bajao. There was a lot of criticism there, but it got people to do what was required to be done. IQ may get you hired, but EQ helps you lead people. So EQ takes you places. Okay, as a leader, you will get work done lot more through EQ than IQ, and you must remember that. Now, there's a very small clip about high IQ. Can we have that clip?
Three signs of emotionally intelligent people. Number 1, empathy. इसका मतलब वो ये समझते हैं कि आपके साथ क्या गुजर रहा है. They don't just say when they say I understand, they actually mean. Number 2, emotional regulation. वो बहुत जल्दी भावुक नहीं हो जाते. वो ज़्यादा जल्दी गुस्सा या ज़्यादा जल्दी खुश नहीं हो जाते. They know उनके emotions को कैसे रेगुलेट किया जाए. And number 3, strong interpersonal skills. जब आप उनसे बात करते हैं ना, तो ऐसा लगता है कि वो आपको जानते हैं या जानने की कोशिश कर रहे हैं. And that's because emotionally वो बहुत aware, बहुत strong है. एक इमोशनली इंटेलिजेंट इंसान टैप करिए, वो आप खुद भी हो सकते हैं.
So the thing is that EQ plays a big part. You know, you joined, if you are an engineer, you will join an organization and at 2 people at the same level will join the organization. Who do you think will move forward? Beyond a point, technical awareness is, technical knowledge is good, but beyond a point, how you interact, how you are a people's person, because as a leader grows up, those are the qualities that are required in you, and you need to build those qualities from right now. Okay, so some of the qualities that make you feel comfortable with a leader. Do you agree? Can you think of anything else? Any other points? There may be some personal points also. I like a teacher who's, or I like a leader who's well dressed, say. So then I feel that teacher who's well dressed has more knowledge than somebody who's shabbily dressed. Is that a perception that you carry? No, not at all. Okay. If there were 2 people who come for a job, one who is a A grader, shabbily dressed, and one who is smartly dressed but has very mediocre marks, who do you think will get picked up? Second one, the one who is dressed up a little smartly. Because these are all perceptions that we have, right or wrong. There is no right or wrong here, but these are the perceptions that we have, and each one of you will have different perceptions कि मेरा leader ऐसा होना चाहिए, or when I become a leader, this is what I want to be. Okay? Black hat is about risk analysis. Do you recognize this woman here? Who is she? Anybody? Yeah. Who? No. No. Anybody? Okay, she's Captain Tyagi. She and her husband were in the army, and during the Kargil war, they are the only army couple in that entire Kargil war or any other war that India has won. So her husband was for fighting in the front, she was in the logistics department. And one of the things that she spoke about at that time was, she said she had a 2-year-old boy and she was pregnant with the second. You've seen that clip, right? Okay. So she said that there was so much to do, and if I had to do, I knew only one thing. I asked my boss, can I get my son with me to work every day? I cannot leave him home. I will handle everything, but I need him to be there. Okay? And she used to sit with him and look after the logistics. Now, why is the picture here and not in the emotional quotient one? The reason being that logistics is a very important thing, right from getting the guns to the soldiers. Also, the soldiers who die in the front, their bodies need to be got back. For that, you need to have coffins, isn't it? How do you get the bodies back? So, logistics is about also giving guns, also giving bullets, also giving ration and food, also giving getting the coffins done. And she talks about when the Kargil war happened, coffins are not available like that only. कि 400 coffins भेज दो. So, but she said, when I told my carpenters that Kargil war has started, we have to be ready with coffins, they said, no, we will not make coffins till somebody dies. And if 600 are needed, we will work morning to night every single day till all the coffins are delivered on time. Okay? That is the response that she got. But basically, this is about analyzing the risks that are there and what you can do best within the circumstances that you're in. Can we have one small clip?
एक B-17 हेलीकॉप्टर, उसके ऊपर भी ये मिसाइल का अटैक आया. इंडियन एयरफोर्स वेंट बैक ऑन द ड्राइंग बोर्ड. बीच ऑपरेशन में उन्होंने अपनी ऑप्स की स्ट्रेटेजी को रिवर्क किया. माने ईगो नहीं होनी चाहिए, हम कभी भी करेक्शन कर सकते हैं लाइफ में. दे वेंट बैक ऑन ड्राइंग बोर्ड और उन्होंने बोला, हम ऐसा कोई जहाज नहीं उड़ाएंगे जो 28,000 से नीचे उड़े, क्योंकि स्टिंगर मिसाइल का रेंज 28,000 फीट है. हमारे जहाज कम से कम 30,000 फुट पे उड़ेंगे. दूसरी चीज, अब क्योंकि मिग इज नॉट सक्सेसफुल, क्योंकि उसके रॉकेट्स जो है वो रेरिफाइड एयर की वजह से अपने टारगेट पे नहीं गिर रहे हैं, वी ब्रॉट इन मिराज 2000 व्हिच वर इक्विप्ड विद लेजर गाइडेड प्रिसिशन बॉम्ब्स. उसके बाद क्या हुआ वो दुनिया ने देखा. माने तकरीबन 9,000 सॉर्टीज वर डन. एक भी जहाज को खरोंच नहीं आई. सिर्फ शुरुआती ये जो 3 एक्सीडेंट्स हुए. स्ट्रेटजी चेंज.
So that's the whole thing, that if something is not working, you need to go back and look at it again, decide what can I change so that it starts working again. Corrective action and correction. These are the two things you need to do. If something is not working, make the correction. And then to prevent from this being repeated, take a corrective action. Yeah, this is not moving. Okay. Yeah. The next hat is a yellow hat. And who do we have here? Who is she? Indra Nooyi, CEO of PepsiCo. Okay. Very famous, and she is celebrated all over the world as a top woman leader in the world and all of that. The thing that she speaks about as a yellow hat is the lessons that she learned along the way. and she said PepsiCo is known for giving aerated sweet drinks, and they're extremely sweet with a lot of sugar. Okay, Pepsi was doing very, very well, was the biggest brand in America at that time, and they had beat Coca-Cola and gone ahead. And that was the time when she told her board members that we have to change our tactics and we have to come up with a product which is good for health and not continue with this only. We have to diversify. And she said we want to start with bottling water. Pepsi has a bottled water also. I forget what is the brand name for it. Aquafina or something. Is that the Pepsi brand? I don't know. Whatever. So the board member said, why get into this business? Pepsi is doing so well. Why are you making us do it? She said, there are 20 of you attending the meeting today. Look at what you have in your hand. You know, on the buffet was Pepsi, different kinds of Pepsi, the orange drink and the Coke and all these things, and there were water bottles. And she said, almost all of you have picked up water bottle rather than an aerated drink. So that is talking about how things are changing, and we need to change with times. Once she talks about when she went, when she became a CEO, she said, I want to go and meet Steve Jobs, okay, and I want some lessons from him. So she goes to meet him, and he tells her two very important things. He says, number one, what is important to you, though for that particular business needs to report to you. You do not delegate it till the last and forget about it. You cannot say, I want this and then forget. For example, suppose as a teacher, if I were a teacher here in your institute, and for me environment and sustainability is of importance, then I will make sure that I am associated with your NSS branch, which is into cleaning drives and planting more trees and things like that. Or even if I were a principal, I would make sure that the teacher reports to me every single day on what's happening on that front. So whatever is important to you, which you feel you need in your company, that reporting has to come to you even as a CEO of PepsiCo. And the other thing he told her, many a times people don't take you they don't take you seriously. As a CEO, if you say this is important to me, people say okay, okay and walk out. You need to throw a tantrum. This is very anti-management, but it really works. So if you do not like something or something is not delivered to you as per your satisfaction, it's okay to throw the papers and throw a tantrum once in a while. You can't be doing it all the time. Okay, so this tactics of changing the hat, sometimes being calm, sometimes showing your anger because what is important is not done. These are the changing hats that you have to keep putting on. What is this? Okay, yeah. So during the COVID pandemic, what happened? Restaurants shut down, hotels shut down. Business was totally closed. It affected hospitality the worst than any other industry, okay? And that was the time when all of us, even we as a college were affected because we had lesser admissions the coming 2-3 years, okay? And in this situation where people were not ready to go out to eat, nobody was allowed to go out, the restaurants could not run, the chefs could not cook. And all that was going on, and then the question came, how can we overcome? What are the opportunities here for us as restaurant owners? What are the opportunities for us as hoteliers? Okay, so some of the hotels got attached to the airports where when tourists came, they had to be cordoned off, isn't it, for a week or so. They had to stay in the room somewhere, cordoned off from the rest of the world, and after 7 days, they were allowed to go home. This was common practice even in India, but for a lesser time, but especially Canada and US, so 8 days you had to stay in a hotel and you could not get out of the room. Your food was delivered at the door, you just open your door, take your food, and then that's it. This was what was going on. So some of the hotels became COVID hotels. Okay, some of them, they said if there are any COVID patients, especially the high-end ones who do not want to go to the hospital, you just have to be quarantined, then we will convert our hotel into a COVID hotel. And they accepted guests to come and stay there. Okay, but what would the restaurants do? And this was such a big revolution after COVID that now at your fingertips, you have so many aggregators, like there's Swiggy, there is Dine Out, there is Zomato, isn't it? A lot of these things have happened after that. So the problems were customers were not coming, sales have stopped, operations are impossible, and we may have to shut down. So if there is some problem which is beyond your imagination, you just have to wear your yellow hat and think, if customers cannot come to us, can we go to the customers? And this is what happened. Okay, businesses started, home deliveries, cloud kitchens started, meal subscriptions were given where you pay for the entire month and you keep getting a dabba home every single day. Then family combo meals and do-it-yourself cooking kits. That became popular in America, not so much in India. But in India, the Taj Mahal Hotel did start something where they gave, suppose you want to make a Thai gravy, okay, red curry, Thai red curry. They would give you the paste separately, chicken separately, cooked rice separately, and all the other ingredients that go in the gravy. You just had to remove everything, put it in the pan, your gravy was ready. So these are your DIY gravies that they started with, and that became big business. Okay. So these are some of the aggregators and cloud kitchens that started during this time, and delivery, door delivery became a business that is a day-to-day business now. So this digital transformation changed the way we made our payments, the way we looked at the QR codes to see the menu in the restaurant. You must have gone to restaurants and seen it. Okay, so digital experience is become the new norm in the restaurant business. Okay, I've just put one small clip for you to see as to where this digital transformation has taken us.
This restaurant in Houston has a dining experience you won't see anywhere else. Instead of just waiting for your food, ceiling projectors bring a tiny animated chef to life right on your table. He prepares your exact order, step by step, perfectly synced with what's happening in the real kitchen. Every ingredient, every movement, and every detail is timed to match your meal as it's being made. And the best part? The moment the animation ends, that's your signal that your food is on the way.
Isn't it nice? Yeah, so these are the kind of things that are happening. Okay, I want to finish and I want to give one exercise for you. Okay, what separated businesses that survived from businesses that failed? Customer understanding, positive thinking, speed of action, which is of utmost importance, adaptability, and technology adoption. We'll just quickly go through it. So yellow hat thinking means looking beyond a problem, look for additional opportunities. It does not mean ignoring problems. It means what can I still do with the situation that I have in front of me. Okay. Do you need to take it down? Can I just scroll? I want to do one exercise with you. Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Okay. The green hat is about creative and innovation. Okay, so creativity in business, same way, opportunity was Swiggy and Zomato, but how to implement the online business was the creative part of it. Okay, and that's why it gave rise to a lot of entrepreneurship. If you've seen Shark Tanks, do you all watch Shark Tanks? There you see a lot of business opportunities, isn't it, which come up because of the situation, our situation in today's age. So this I wanted to tell, but we are going to skip this slide. Okay, then the blue hat is about leadership, planning and control. Do you recognize this woman? I don't think so, but anybody? She is Deepa Krishnan from IIM Ahmedabad. Okay, many years back she started a tourist business in the city of Mumbai called Mumbai Magic. What she did was she got all the urchins from the slums around Mumbai. She taught them how to be guide and how to take the tourists, foreign tourists from the Taj Mahal hotel. They would go in the train, they would go to all the gullies and explore all the touristy spots, and the children would get them back to the hotel. This whole experience was curated to give them an Indian local flavor for the tourists who are staying in the Taj. And this way she said, even our urchins earned a lot of money. At that time, which is like 25-30 years ago, she used to say, for every urchin I would pay 750 rupees to do this business, and she really trained them well. Of course, later then there was a lot of hue and cry because they were children, and even today if you Google for an Airbnb room in Dharavi, can you guess how much it sells for? 2,500 a night. Okay, and foreigners go and stay there to get that experience of having to stay in a slum. So this is the blue hat this is about how you make your process. She built her business on a process, curated this tourist route and sent the children. Okay. The last hat is about ethics and values. Never let go about your integrity, because like I said, it will come to bite you, and at some point you will lose everything you have gained just because you have not stuck to the ethics and values. Very well done. Let's have a round of applause for everybody who's there. Thank you. So for every situation, all of you need to wear the different hats and then write down everything as per that hat, so that you are able to take a decision which is a very informed decision. Okay, will you guys remember this in your life? Okay, unfortunately I am just going to close it here. I had a meeting in the university at 11:30 and it's already 11:30 here. So thank you very much for this opportunity, and I hope to see you at some point during your tenure here. Thank you.